incredibly powerful balance sheets. They can undertake very large investment projects, and this started to happen. We already have LNG projects which are developed not on the basis of a traditional long-term contract, but on the basis of a portfolio and the balance sheet of a super major. Now, another very important driver of change is shale gas in the United States, which completely turned the table. 5 years ago, we expected the United States to become a larger LNG importer. Shale gas first wiped out the import needs of the United States. Then it turned the United States into a prospective LNG exporter. Currently, the gas cannot get out of North America. There are certain regions from the United States where gas is actually being flared. The gas flaring in the Bakken Formation in North Dakota is the same light visible from space as the city of Chicago. Because of the rapid increase of light tight oil production, the gas is coming up, the infrastructure is not there, so they burn it. Now, but I don't think that will happen for long. The infrastructure will be developed, and that gas will get to markets. Now, our assessment suggests that even though gas is rapidly increasing in its role in the US energy system, the North American shale gas resource base is so large that we believe that the United States will be able to have enough shale gas production to supply a rapidly growing domestic demand and turn the United States into a meaningful gas exporter at the same time. The first US LNG export project will come online in 2016, and there are around 20 others in different stages. Now, again, don't get me wrong, not all of that 20 will end up being built. In fact, the majority of them will not be built. But still, our projections suggest that by 2035, the United States will be a meaningful LNG exporter with a roughly 9% share of the global energy market. This is roughly comparable to the combination of Malaysia and Indonesia. So in the United States, you will not get a Qatar, or you will not get an Australia, but you will get a meaningful important player in global LNG, and very importantly, markets work in the United States. So the United States will not only export gas, the United States will also export the efficiency of its markets. And that's very important for gas to fulfill that what-if role in energy policy. Now, giving a quick round tour of the key Asian countries of how they progress towards development. First, Japan is the largest LNG importer in the world, and it has a very important role. In fact, Japan's share in the global LNG demand is higher than the share of the United States in global oil demand. So it has a very large weight on global markets. It also has a very well-developed LNG infrastructure and a very large fleet of gas-fired power generation. This is a very good starting point, but Japan has a lot of things to do still. It has a segmented onshore infrastructure, both from the point of view of gas and also from the point of view of electricity. In fact, it is actually debatable whether we can talk about a Japanese national system at all, because of the geographical segmentation of the Japanese system. So Japan needs to set up a properly integrated domestic national market for gas. They are working on it. The same task is there for electricity. In fact, the Japanese government is just proposing to set up a national electricity system operator for Japan. So far, Japan has not had a national electricity system operator. Legislation exists for third-party access in LNG in Japan, but in practice, the market transactions are marginal. Korea is also an important country, but Korea plays a much more important role in engineering than markets. So whereas in every LNG project you find the big Korean engineering companies doing some important technical work, the Korean gas market is excessively monopolized and regulated by the Korean government. Very similar is the situation in China, although I must say that in China, I think my impression is that when I watch my daughter playing with Lego, that's how the Chinese gas market resembles. That they already have all the appropriate Lego blocks on the table, but they need to assemble still. So China has a rapidly growing gas demand. It has a potential for a meaningful diversification because they have domestic gas, they have LNG, they have Turkmenistani gas, they have gas from Myanmar, and in the future they probably have gas from Russia as well. So you see how a competitive gas market can develop. And they already experiment with LNG trading in Shanghai. Now, on the other hand, China has no proper third-party access regulation to the domestic pipeline system. So PetroChina effectively controls the domestic pipeline system. There are still infrastructure bottlenecks. The United States is roughly the same geographical territory than China. The United States has more than 10 times more gas pipelines than China. Now, China is of course building pipelines, but even for China, it will take at least a decade to build up a proper natural gas pipeline system. There is overlapping price regulation, so if you want to study how natural gas is regulated in China, you really have to understand how the central government and the provinces interact with each other. And there's very little role left for markets. Very, very interestingly, China is experimenting with introducing oil price indexation right now, and the rest of the world is trying to get out. Which raises an interesting question, that the United States was able to move from a monopolized market to a competitive market in one step. I think actually China has a potential to do the same. So I'm not sure China should introduce oil price indexation right now. I think they have a potential to move to a competitive market in one step. And last but absolutely not least, our host country today, Singapore. Singapore also has some very important advantages. Of course, it is already a very important commodity trading hub in practically every commodity. And some of the generic advantages of Singapore, a good financial system, a good legal system, good institutions, apply to natural gas as well. Very, very importantly, Singapore is the first country in the Asia-Pacific region which introduces proper third-party access to the gas infrastructure. The terminal under construction will be the first really open access terminal in the Asia-Pacific. And also very importantly, it is linked to LNG storage facilities. Now, several Asia-Pacific countries, including Japan and Korea, already invested in quite large LNG storage facilities, but they are one-directional storages. So the tanker arrives in a Japanese terminal, and the storage facility is used to supply the domestic consumers. Whereas the storage concept which Singapore is developing will be bidirectional, which means that the storage facility will be able to feed back tankers who leave Singapore. And that's extremely important because commodity traders sooner or later will need this service. They need the ability to have a cargo arriving from Australia and store it, reload it to a smaller tanker, go it further to Thailand and so on. Another important advantage to Singapore is an interesting characteristics of the US law. Under the current US legislation, LNG export projects require approval from the US government, and that's proving to be a quite lengthy process for an LNG project, except if the country has a free trade agreement with the United States, which Singapore has. So LNG export projects from the United States to Singapore would be automatically approved, and that's also a very important advantage given the future role of North America. Now, on the other hand, of course, the domestic market of Singapore is small, and that's, if I compare it with the other hub development in Shanghai, for example, Shanghai has a very, very largely growing domestic market behind it. That will not be the case in Singapore, so any hub development will have to be internationally oriented. And also, as of today, Singapore still has administrative controls over gas imports, which in a properly liberalized market would be an interest. So this is the quick ground tour on Asia, and thank you for your attention. I'm happy to take questions and comments.